Yo, it's your boy DZ, man. You already know it's not about the setback, it's about the get back. I want to appreciate everyone that's became a member, that subscribed to the channel, and that watches the channel. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we go live. I appreciate all of y'all that rock with me, and I hope y'all continue to rock with me. What's poppin', fam? Shout out to all y'all that rock with SBGB TV. Facts. And last night, we covered the situation in Philadelphia where a woman by the name of Kada Scott went missing. And some people felt like maybe she could have went off on her own, and some people felt like this didn't sound right. It was odd for a college woman that was working, nice job, going to college, going to work to pay for college, that she would just up and disappear. Don't let her family know. Don't let nobody know anything. And she had been getting threats in the past, and she notified the family of it. But it got real. The police got a suspect, right? And they arrested him on kidnapping charges. Now, they didn't arrest him for the homicide. And I hope that she's still alive, but they didn't arrest him for the homicide. They arrested him for kidnapping. And they say that he has a past history of kidnapping and strangling women. He got locked up the beginning of the year 2025 for kidnapping and strangling a woman, and the DA dismissed the case because the victim didn't cooperate. And now that they see that he got involvement in the disappearance of Kada Scott, they recharged him with that other case. So he got 2 charges of kidnapping while they still investigate about Kada Scott and where she's at, because she still hasn't been found, and they looking. But they know that he was in contact with her at the time of the disappearance. It was a lot of phone communication between them, and he tried to like destroy the evidence to make it where as though he wasn't involved with her. And they know this, and they know more, but they not saying everything right now. And we gonna play the update so everybody can see it themselves what they're saying. But you gotta definitely be mindful who you link up with. Yeah, dude look like little dirty joker, you know, and some women be attracted to these people that don't really got nothing going on, don't got no hustle, no nothing. And then you end up putting yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. You know, I hope that she's still alive, but from the looks of it, it don't look like it, because they arrested him for the kidnapping. He tried to destroy evidence. He got a past history of strangling and kidnapping women. So we can see that this right here looked like it went too far. Yeah. But they arrested him on something where as though they can hold him and still investigate. You know, they want to dig deep into this. She ain't surfaced at all. And they done arrested the last person that been in contact with her. That right there let me know that it's definitely foul play. Ain't no doubt in my mind that it's foul play because they arrested him. You know, they got the phone records. He tried to destroy the evidence of the vehicle and the phone. You know, when they said that they was doing search warrants, I already knew that they done came to a conclusion on something. And it must be in those text messages that was between them. It was some heated exchange. Had to be. For them to go ahead and make this move, it had to be some heated exchange words that they're not telling everybody, but they're trying to find out and locate where she at. They just haven't found her yet. If you haven't already hit the like button, smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button and share the live. Yeah. Well, we're going to check this out and see what they saying, because they had like a press conference. So we're going to check this press conference out and see what they said. Hit that like button, though, and hit that subscribe button. You know I appreciate all y'all. Facts.
Photographers in the room, the microphone situated. Again, this is a news conference about Kada Scott, the 23-year-old from Philadelphia. She's been missing for about 2 weeks now. Disappeared on October 4th. Scott's family last saw her the night that she left for an overnight shift at her job at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill. That's a nursing home on East Abington Avenue. Just yesterday, law enforcement sources confirmed that police identified a man who they wanted to talk to in connection to the case. Let's listen in.
The disappearance of Kada Scott, which occurred on October 4th, 11 days ago. Going to provide you an update in terms of an individual that is currently in custody for his involvement in the disappearance of Miss Scott. However, still a lot of work needs to be done. And so I just want to make that very clear as to why we are here and the information that you will receive. Essentially letting you know how we have gotten here, but more so the public's help that we need right now. The public has been very, very helpful thus far in providing a lot of information, which the investigators have been able to track down a lot of the leads, which has helped us get to this point here. But as I said, a lot of work still to be done. The number one priority is locating Miss Scott. I just want to make that very clear. And so while we are at this stage of this now, that's our priority. And so we will ask for your help in locating this vehicle, which you'll get a little more information. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with a Pennsylvania tag of MSX0797. But we need to know where this car is. We need to find this car. Making this very clear, it's not to just focus on the northwest section of the city of Philadelphia. This car has traversed through the entire city. And so I want that to be clear, that every neighborhood, every person listening to this, whether you're in North Philly, South Philly, Southwest, Northwest, please open your eyes and see if you locate this car, or if you have seen this car, please contact us and give us that information. The second part of this is the individual that Deputy Commissioner Venor will provide his information very shortly. Want folks to understand this person has a little bit of a pattern of this type of history. And so we want to encourage anyone that may have been involved with this individual, anyone that may know this individual, please, at this point in time, make that phone call. Feel comfortable enough to call us and let us know if you have any information regarding this person, regarding any interaction you've had with this individual, if you have been the victim of any crime regarding this individual.
Dude has a pattern. Dude has a pattern of doing this to women. And I'm sure that her family is gonna definitely feel like the police should have been had him in custody. They should have been had him in custody, but they let him go. When you that type of violent person where you strangling, kidnapping women, yeah, that right there, it turns into something else eventually. And that's what just happened in this situation here, because that was his MO. He got away with the last situation and he went too far with this situation. Because I really think that he did something to that girl and it went too far. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the live.
I want you to understand now is the time to make that phone call and let us know. Give us that information so that we can continue on. Again, just want to make it very clear that a lot of work has been done, starting off with Northwest Detective Division and then this case shifting over to homicide, making it very clear that the case was shifted to homicide because we have the most experienced investigators in our homicide unit. They have the most experience dealing with all types of investigations. They also have the most resources available to them. And so we have the hopes that we are still treating this as if Ms. Scott is still alive. And that's why we want the public's help in trying to locate every single piece of this. But I just wanted to make that clear because I know there's been some reports once it shifted over to homicide, folks not understanding the why. And so that's the reason behind that. At this point in time, again, appreciate the help that we've gotten. I want to turn everything over to Deputy Venora to go into more details about the individual that has been taken into custody and some other pertinent facts of the investigation.
I think they turned it over to homicide because he made some of those type of threats. Yeah, I think in those text messages between him and her, those are the kind of threats he made towards her. And that's why they turned it over to homicide. They can't find her. He tried to destroy evidence. And they're trying to get the people that do the best work to look into the situation. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, man. Shout out to all y'all in the chat, man. Appreciate all y'all SBGB fam. What's poppin'?
All right, good morning. Just to reiterate what the Commissioner Stanford said, we've been investigating this since Saturday, October 4th in the evening, the last time Kada Scott was seen at her place of work up in Mount Airy area. Our evidence that we followed, and we did involve a lot of investigators on this, led us to several places, that digital evidence, and as everyone knows, we searched a very large area up in the Arboretum, and we came up really with negative results. After that time, we asked the Homicide Division, the FBI Violent Crime Task Force to enter into the investigation, and we continued our search, trying to Ms. Scott along with anybody she may have encountered during that time. Our evidence that she was in communication with an individual
News conference
to meet her very shortly after she leaves her. She disappears off of the footprint. We have a lot of digital evidence, video and other, which provide individual by the name of KEON, K-E-O-N, King, K-I-N-G. Through our evidence, we were able to charge this individual. The district attorney was able to charge the individual. You'll hear from them shortly with kidnapping at this point. It's very important to know we're not done our investigation. Ms. Scott, figure out where she is or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone, her Instagram, social media sites, and everywhere else, work. She left her car at that location. So it's very important that this individual, who does have prior history of being arrested, especially for this very same thing, this year was charged with kidnapping another female acquaintance.
We all know a woman ain't going to disappear and not have the phone at all. They going to have some communication with the phone, man. That ain't happening. And also leave her car at work. She went with this person for whatever reason. And this person, he did something to her. And they know, they just not telling us everything right now. They know what was said on that phone, them text messages. They got all that. So they know that he said something to that magnitude and they still haven't found her. Now, he was the last person to be with her. He's around, but she ain't around. You know what that means. The last person to be with her before the phone went blank, but he's around and she ain't around. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the live.
That case was dismissed from court, and I'll explain it. It's going to be refiled now as we're going to move forward to attempt. So he's being really charged with 2 cases today of kidnapping, and that case, it involves kidnapping. So this is a pattern of behavior. That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle. All right, that vehicle's not recovered. All right, some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have. So we're asking the public's help. We need it more than ever. This car, you'll see a better picture of it. We sent it to you digitally. It's a gold color Camry, 1999. It has heavy front end damage on the left front bumper. All right, that's being described that way several times. We know it's been in the Mount Airy area. We have photos of it in Center City. We have pictures of it in Grace Ferry area and in Southwest Philadelphia. So it's possible that it could be anywhere. It could be outside the city. So if somebody sees this, thinks they know where this car is, it's very possible it doesn't have this tag on it anymore. So
he destroyed the phone, got rid of the car, eluded the police to that magnitude, and he was the last one with her. Chat, what do y'all think about that? We gotta be real, man. We gotta be real. Ain't no way he didn't do something to her. Why are you trying to get rid of your car? Why are you trying to get rid of your phone? They done contacted his family and told him, we gonna kick everybody's door in until we find him. Y'all better make sure that he come up here. And he turned himself in. But you can already see he got a past history of doing this. And he just did this year. This year. Man, there's some sickos out here. We got to be real. It's some straight sick individuals out here. This year, he just did the same thing to another girl. And I guarantee you that other girl, her seeing this on the news right now, she feeling like she escaped something. Man, this could have been her. For real, for real. Dude is a dirtbag, man. Sick individual.
So if you see a car like it, we're urging you to call police, have it investigated. Any information on this, you can call our tip line, 215-686-TIPS, 8477, or the Homicide Division directly, and give that information. All right, I'm going to turn things over to ADA Teslowski, who could speak a little more about the charges and potentially other charges that he's facing.
Thank you. My name is Ashley Teslowski. I am an assistant district attorney in the homicide unit. I became involved in this investigation last week when the investigation was turned over to the homicide unit. So I became the assigned ADA when detectives Rob Daly and Joe Kremen took over the case. The first thing I want to say is that PPD and our federal partners and Detective Daly and Detective Kremen have done an amazing job to get us where we are. Today I'm joined by Tracy Washington from our Victim Services Unit and also Bob Listenby, the first assistant of our office. What I can confirm is that our office, as of the early morning hours into the early morning hours this morning, did charge this individual with charges, the lead charge being kidnapping. You know, as we've said multiple times at this point, we do not know where Ms. Scott is. So at this point, our lead charge is kidnapping. What we're able to confirm and what I was able to charge based on is what we know, which has already been said, which is that this person, Mr. King, is the last person we believe to be in contact with her, and that he was in contact with her when she went offline, meaning her phone, everything. So at this point, the investigation has led us here, and
we know they're not just going to charge him with kidnapping from being the last one in contact with her. We know this. Hold up. They not going to make that kind of assumption just from him being the last person in contact with her. It was a lot said on them text messages. Straight up, they got the text messages. And they said that, you know, when it's a situation like this, they can get your phone information without a warrant. They just got to provide the warrant within 72 hours after they get the phone information. So that's something that people should know as well. When they want to go in your phone and it's serious, they don't need the warrant until after they get the information. 72 hours. So they done went in this phone and got what was said between them and then got the warrant. Because they done ran into multiple houses that he's been associated with, and that was after they got the messages and the warrant. They was able to identify his association and the things that he said with her. Yeah. And I really think that they know it ain't looking good because they brought the homicide unit in. Yeah. Why would they bring the homicide unit in? They could have brought just some old detectives in there. They brought the homicide unit in because they know something ain't right. And it's a sad situation. You know, it's a lot of crazy jokers out here. She's 23 years old, messing with this weird looking dude, and he done went all the way left. Got a history of it though. You know they got a history of something like this. You better get low.
Able to charge him with kidnapping, recklessly endangering another person, use of a communication facility, meaning his phone. We were able to track his phone and communications on his phone. He's being processed as we speak. When I picked up this investigation, one of the things that our office also learned was that he did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges. We believe there is enough to proceed, and we also do believe that this is a pattern for this person. That refile was filed yesterday. He was served on that as a part of our conversation with him. Him being here and being processed on the new charges, he was served for that, so he will also be facing a preliminary hearing on that previous kidnapping case as well. So at this point, he will have 2 open kidnapping cases that will face preliminary hearings in the coming months.
Two kidnapping charges. Now it took for a girl to disappear for them to want to press the other case. It took for the girl to disappear, and I guarantee you, in that phone, he was speaking on that other situation. This is why they want to bring it back up, because he was probably telling the girl Kada that I'm gonna do you just like I did the other girl. Yeah, I ain't playing. So I guarantee you it was some stuff said in there that make them go revisit that situation. For them to charge him with both kidnappings at the time. And to charge him with the kidnapping, they know he kidnapped. They could have charged him with anything else in the situation. But they charged him with kidnapping because they know something happened and it was because of him. They know it. They just ain't telling everybody everything about it, but they know he kidnapped her and did something to that girl. Why would he get rid of his car? Why would he get rid of his car? They can't find his car, but her car sitting there parked. This is why we know something happened to her. She would just leave her car there, go with him. His car ain't nowhere to be found. She might be in his car somewhere. We just heard the situation with the rapper or the singer, David. She might be in that car somewhere. Literally. And he trying to hide the car out. She might be in that car, man. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button.
I don't know if there's any questions.
Yeah.
How many times does the defendant, does the case appear before a judge that it's then withdrawn? I mean, how many times does this matter come before a judge and the decision then gets made, it's withdrawn?
And it depends. In this specific case, what I could tell you is that after the first listing, when the victim failed to appear, the case was marked what I'll call must be tried, which is a little bit of a court lingo, but basically saying if it's not tried by the next listing, it'll either be dismissed or withdrawn. It was marked that way after the first listing when she didn't appear in court. And then at the second listing, when again, we didn't have the witness or the victim in court, it was at that point withdrawn given the previous marking.
Do you have a state birth?
I do not, but I'm sure we can get that.
Yeah, okay.
The video of the vehicle in the area of the Los Cerritos, do we believe that's the vehicle that?
So this vehicle has been traveling all over the city. So we do believe this video is involved in what we're talking about, and we have it all over the city in concert with how he's moving as well. Yep, we have the date of birth for you. It is 5/6/2004. So 5/6/2004.
Do you guys know how the two knew each other, how long it had been, and is this the specific individual that Kada had expressed concern about, specifically harassment?
I'm not willing to comment on that at this time. That's still very much being investigated in terms of their relationship and how long they knew each other.
So she had a personal relationship with the dude. Yeah, that's why she was so comfortable with leaving work with him. Yeah, he probably was cussing her out in text message, told her to leave work, we need to talk, and had some other plans on his mind. And dude was 21 years old. 21. She was 23. He did something to that girl, man. Yeah, he did something to her. From the answering of these questions, how they saying, oh, we can't talk about that at this time, and that's because they know more, but they trying to locate where she's at.
So the significance of the car right now, the urgency, if you will, can you address why you believe people need to find this car?
Sure, I can certainly comment on that, or if you want to. I mean, at this point, we believe he is connected to this vehicle. We also believe she may have been in that vehicle.
As far as the other case, the kidnapping case,
Yes.
can you just explain some of the circumstances surrounding that case, brief as you would be?
Sure. That case is an individual that was known to him, a domestic in nature. And what I can say is the allegations in that case are that he kidnapped a woman in front of her house, threw her in her car, assaulted her, and then eventually let her out of the car. There is some video evidence, I believe, that'll be played at a preliminary hearing, but that was domestic in nature.
And do you have a time or about when that happened?
It was this year in 2025. The case was withdrawn in May, so it predates that by a little bit.
Man, he grabbed another woman up, threw her in his car, and kidnapped her, strangled her. His car is missing. She got to be in the car. The car is missing. She got to be in the car. Yeah. That looked like his MO. To grab the women up, throw them in the car. I know the first girl is watching this. Like, man, I'm lucky I got away. I guarantee you the first girl is watching this stuff on the news and saying, I'm lucky I got away. Because he probably told the first girl that he was going to unalive her too.
Where was the last location of this pharmacy?
I don't know if we have exactly the last location, but what I can say is through our investigation, it was tracked all over the city, in multiple areas of the city in multiple different time periods throughout, the entire length of this investigation.
When police were at an address in Southwest Philadelphia last Thursday night, was that one of his addresses?
It was one of the addresses connected to this investigation.
Do you believe anyone else might be helping Kay or possibly driving that vehicle for him?
In terms of other people being involved, I don't have comment on that at this time. It's still very much being investigated. There have been several phone numbers involved that we've been tracking, but all roads at this point lead to him, and so that's what we're hoping leads us to her.
After she arrives at work at 10 o'clock, how big is the time window when she actually remains at work before leaving?
Yeah.
She's not there long at all. She gets there maybe just before 10, and right after she's out, maybe 20 minutes. That's what I'm told.
Are they connected, are they communicating at this point?
We believe they are, yeah.
You know how the two knew each other?
She was at work for 20 minutes and left. She was at work for 20 minutes and left, man. Yeah. Somehow he got her to come out the job. Foul joker.
I don't know their relationship. Obviously, they had a connection. They're going back and forth, and they've known each other for a short time, but I don't know how long.
Do you know if she was willingly meeting him or?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
I just wanted to see is he saying anything? Is he being interviewed?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point. All right, good.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening there to Philadelphia Police, as well as the District Attorney's Office, giving us an update on the missing persons case of 23-year-old Kada Scott, who's been missing for the past 11 days. Disappeared October 4th. A lot of new information coming out of that news conference. The biggest thing that police saying they still have a lot of work that needs to be done in this case, that they still need the public's help, in particular to locate a 1999 gold Toyota Camry with heavy front end damage that has literally been seen all over the city. They stressed that many, many times. This is not just a case that is related to one part of the city, all over the city. So they need the public to look out for that vehicle. They also stress that this is still a missing persons case. Homicide investigators are involved, but only because those are the most skilled investigators that the department has. So they are still treating this as a missing persons case. They have one man in custody right now who is charged with 2 cases of kidnapping. We're going to have the very latest on this. We've got reporters on the ground that were in that news conference right there. We'll be back here for NBC 10 News in about 9 minutes or so with the very latest on that and the rest of today's news, including other breaking news that we're following this morning. We'll see you here in about.
If you haven't already smashed that like button, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, he did something with her. He definitely did something with her. They can't find him or the car. I mean, they can't find her or the car. Yeah, he did something with her. For real. Man, you gotta watch who you deal with. Yeah, you gotta watch who you deal with. You gotta watch who you deal with. Let me see. Hold up. You gotta watch who you deal with. Yeah, you gotta watch who you deal with, man.
Right now at noon on CBS News Philadelphia, new clues in the search for this missing woman. Police just arrested a man and have accused him of kidnapping Kada Scott, but they still need help finding her. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan. Police are also searching for a car that they say could be connected to the case. Let's go to CBS News Philadelphia Chief Investigative Reporter Joe Holden. Joe joins us live now from police headquarters. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon, Jim. So police say their number one priority is still locating 23-year-old Kada Scott. Their investigation has made significant strides, and now they have under arrest a man named KEON King. He is a 21-year-old man from the city of Philadelphia. As you've mentioned, Jim, KEON King is charged in Kada Scott's kidnapping. Police wouldn't say if he's made any comment or statements about the possible whereabouts of Kada Scott. Now, she vanished the night of October 4th, 20 minutes after she began her Saturday night shift at a Chestnut Hill assisted living facility. Police are right now asking the public for help in locating KEON King's 1999 champagne-colored Toyota Camry. They say it's believed Scott was in that car with King. Police would only say the two knew each other and had been communicating in the time leading up to her abduction. Police have been using tracking technology to trace cell phone activity in trying to locate Scott. Last week, there was a massive search at Aubury Arboretum in the city's East Germantown neighborhood. Police today said efforts to find anything on that property of value to the investigation were unsuccessful. Once again, emphasizing police say their number one priority is locating Kada Scott.
That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle, all right? That vehicle's not recovered, all right? Some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have.
Philadelphia police are warning this man, KEON King, is extremely dangerous. In fact, he has a prior history of charges for kidnapping and strangulation. Both of those charges date back to January of this year, where he allegedly strangled and kidnapped a woman. Police went on to explain that those charges were eventually withdrawn by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office after they say the victim did not appear for the first hearing in the case. Once again, KEON King in police headquarters behind me with the homicide unit. It is unclear if he has legal representation. Police also not discussing at this time as their efforts to find Kada Scott continue if Mr. King has made any statements at all, Jim, in where she could possibly be. But we know from their press conference held within the last hour that that Toyota Camry, 1999 Toyota Camry, has been seen in spots across the city of Philadelphia. Police asking everyone to open their eyes and keeping a lookout for that Toyota Camry. They believe it to be instrumental and significant in their investigation to locate Kada Scott. We're live outside police headquarters. Joe Holden, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Yeah. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely he has something to do with it. Yeah. And you can see that the police are looking in the woods. The police are searching the woods. They looking outside. Yeah. Last place her phone was pinging, it went out. He did something to her. You know, 21 years old. Funny looking joker too. Straight up. Funny looking joker. Nothing to lose at all. Yeah. She was 23. You gotta be mindful who you get with, man. Yeah. If a dude telling you he gonna harm you, unalive you, you better believe him. Even if he don't get an opportunity. If a dude is telling you that he gonna take your life, you better believe him. Don't play with that. You never know what type time somebody gonna be on. Yeah, you know, because he playing that. Yeah, she left work after she clocked in. He playing that. He playing to do something to her. Yeah. They said she hadn't known him for that long. She probably told him she was cutting him off. He couldn't take it. Probably was the prettiest girl he had. Yeah. Foul. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah.
There's been some reports once it shifted over to homicide, folks not understanding the why. And so that's the reason behind that. At this point in time, again, appreciate the help. There's been some reports.
Let me see. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let me see. See, they was talking about this. It's been 11 days. 11 days. And they got a lot of information. Yeah, they got a lot of information. They know. They just trying to locate her. I don't think that he talked to him yet. You know, when they was just saying, did he make a statement? I don't think he made a statement yet. I think eventually he will, because usually these type of people, they tell what happened eventually. At first, they hold back, and then after they talk to him a few times, they get in there and tell him how everything went and where the person is. Usually, these people that do these type of things, because all the evidence is pointing to him. So it ain't like he can't act like I wasn't there and I don't know her. You was with her when the phone went out. And you know, they using them cell phones. Cell phones is the easiest thing, you know, that they can get the evidence from. Everybody's taking the phone everywhere. That's why, you know, I knew when they said the phone ain't been on in 10, 11 days. And you ain't no woman going no 10, 11 days without no phone, man. The phone then became a permanent part of us. And this is a fact. Nobody's going no 10, 11 days without your phone. It's a permanent part of us. It start making you feel like you can't function. I need my phone. You leave the house without your phone, you go crazy. Man, I gotta go. I left my phone. You'll be late to work going back to get your phone. So when the phone go out like that, you know what it is. Yeah. But she had to feel comfortable to go with boy, you know, or she might have been scared and went with him to try to calm him down. You know, because it be situations like that. Women want to try to calm the man down, so she might have went with him to try to think that she can talk him down because he was upset about something. But she left her job, though. 20 minutes at work, she left the job and went with him, clocked out. So he might have been upset, and she thought that she can go calm him down. And he was already on 10. You know, these young boys be running around with those straps heavy. And he was 21 too. Yeah, them young boys be running around with them straps heavy, man. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe button.
There's been some reports once it shifted.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Over to homicide, folks not understanding the why. And so that's the reason behind that. At this point in time, again, appreciate the help that we've gotten. I want to turn everything over to Deputy Venora to go into more details about the individual that has been taken into custody and some other pertinent facts of the investigation.
Right. All right, good morning. Just to reiterate what the Commissioner Stanford said, we've been investigating this since Saturday, October 4th in the evening, the last time Kada Scott was seen at her.
SBGB TV live calling show. What's poppin'?
Hey, what's up? This is Deja Vu.
What's going on with you, Deja Vu?
I'm just listening, and I'm thinking that, I mean, I know there's a lot of theories, and I don't know for sure, but I don't really see a reason why she would have left with him voluntarily, especially if he was making threats, and especially with her just getting to work, because that sounds like that would be risking her job, and I don't see why she would risk her job. She seems very responsible, so I don't see why she would risk her job for him. Yeah, maybe if she was getting off, it seems more plausible, but with her just getting to work, I think, because I remember I was in Houston a couple years ago, and I had essentially did some volunteer work with older people like that. And basically, a lot of them, you know, they're out of it. A lot of people are on medication, you know, they need help. So the way I'm thinking, it might be a possibility that he just came in there and made her leave. And yeah, kind of like what you said, maybe she was trying to, you know, appease the situation and just left with him so it wouldn't be a scene there in front of all the older people maybe. So yeah, I could kind of see that. But I think it was probably kind of forced. And, you know?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, because there wasn't any cameras in there. So it could be a possibility. And that is weird that they don't have no cameras in a facility where they're taking care of old people, but they don't have anything to reference to about that. So that could have happened.
Yeah, the place I was at, they were kind of threatening the people. You know what I mean? Like there was one lady in there talking about how she didn't have enough food, and because they were having the people use their food stamps to buy the food, and she didn't have any, so they were barely giving her any, and then the people that worked there were eating it all. But you know what I'm saying? So it could be that a lot of, even my papa, like he passed away at 99 years old. And, he had diabetes and he was there. They paid a lot of money because I have wealthy family members. They were all chipping in. It was in Glendale. And they would not spoon feed him. He needed to be spoon fed. But they would just stick the food in front of him. And then, if you have diabetes, your sugar, so what they ended up doing was he went into, he basically was unalive, and then they brought him back to life and then said, oh, you had to do not resuscitate, and then they let him starve again to die. And he was a retired pastor, preacher they paid all kind of money to have him there. So it's like, and then I would walk in the halls there. It would look kind of like a home, apartment complex. People who were older but not that far gone were living in it like an apartment complex. Other people needed they weren't nurses. They were just like people that would come check on them. And I would walk in the halls, like I said, it looked like a big apartment complex. And people would be screaming behind their doors like, help, help, help. Well, not screaming because they have a lot of energy, but just saying, help, help, help. You know what I mean? So, of course, you don't want and that's a place, like I said, where people whose children make over $100,000 a year have them in. And they have multiple children. So, you know what I mean? That's where wealthy people are. So, I mean, they don't want that kind of stuff on camera. There's a lot of what they call elderly abuse. That's all abuse. I remember when I was there, the lady hadn't had her nails cut for who knows how long because they were 2 to 3 inches long. And she was asking me, I had just got there. She was calling me a nurse. And she wanted me to give her shot. All this stuff, she had been there for forever. None of that stuff she had. So there's a lot of abuse going on. So to me, it totally makes sense why there's no cameras.
So, what I do want to say about what you just said about him forcing her out. The reason why I would say it didn't go like that is because there are other people that work there. She's not the only one that works there. So I'm sure that if he would have came into the job irate, upset about anything, somebody else would have observed that was working there, because she's not the only person that worked there. So they would have seen that happen. I think that she might have had a text, a phone call. It was some conversation had that got her to clock out and leave. But I don't think he came in the building, because that would have been the first thing would have been said. Even though it wasn't no cameras, there would have been an eyewitness saying that he came in the building. So I don't think that, but it could be, but I just don't think that.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? If she wasn't the only person there, he definitely couldn't have came in like that. Now, I was at that place. I was telling you that they had a few different houses. So a couple of houses, I was the only one. And I had only been there a few days. You know what I mean? That's how desperate they were to get people. And then they wanted the people there 24 hours a day, and they weren't paying them. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if there was other people there, but if she, yeah, so either way, yeah, I definitely don't. Yeah, most likely he didn't force her out. Most likely he did, like you said, just kind of, you know, use his power to get her to go outside, like his influence. I mean, but yeah, and as far as like the previous case, I mean, it's super. It's like I see the prosecutor, whoever that was that you were showing us talking right there, and it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, it just seems like they're just really disinterested with a lot of cases when it's a black woman that is in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I know what's her name said, protect black women, but it's a serious thing. Like a lot of the times, you know, they don't protect them. You know, if it's a Hispanic or a white woman, you know what I'm saying? They want to pursue this, pursue that, you know, throw the book at them. But a black woman, it's like, you know, you want to talk about racism. Well, this is what racism is. It's not just not liking someone because of their color. You have to have a power. And here's where the power shows itself. It's when a woman, like they said in the previous case, they said something about there may be a video or there is a video. Sounds like there is a video that they can use. So why didn't you use it before this happened? Why did you say just because the witness and the victim didn't show up that you're not going to prosecute when you had the video? You could have pursued it with the video. You know, she didn't show up, it was for a reason. So they had the video, they could have just pursued the case. So now they want to pursue it with the video. I'm pretty sure the girl probably still isn't coming forward because he's still on the street. But now they want to pursue that case with the evidence that they had, and they should have did that in the first place. And I bet they would have did it if it had been a white woman or a Hispanic or Asian, anything but black, because it's a whole different set. Jim Crow is still in full effect. There's a whole different set of laws when you're a black woman, and that's the stuff that, you know, it's just needs to be aware of. People need to be aware of that, and they need to notice that. Just like when it first happened, the cop talking about, well, she might have just wanted to go away. How'd she go away when she left her phone in her car? And she has all these responsibilities. How many jobs did she have? Social media, she had all these different responsibilities. Her family says it's not in her character, but you talking about she went for a vacation. It's like they're insulting people with their stupidity intentionally. And they really don't care. It's like they're happy. One less black girl, one less black guy. Oh no, wait, hold on. What they really want is for the family to retaliate. And then they want to go get the family for the retaliation, the murder. And then it's like, 100 people we get to arrest now. That's really what they want to do. Because the whole purpose of the law is so that the family don't have to retaliate. There's supposed to be justice to prevent that. Just like in Bible times, they had a city of refuge. Someone accidentally killed someone, they could go run to that city and escape the family. But if they didn't run to the city, the family had the freedom to take care of them, take them out. That's why the courts are in place, so that the families and the loved ones don't have to avenge justice. But they want them to avenge the justice so they can go get them. This is just setup after setup is what the cops are doing. It's what it appears to me.
You have a good point there. And, you know, it could be, it could be that they have a lot of cases as well. And, certain cases they just let go. And it could be what you're saying. Understandable. I definitely, understand your point of view. And, and I appreciate you calling in, giving your point of view. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this live. Yeah, the line is open. You can call in and let me know how you feel about this situation. What you think about it. What you think might have happened. Why you think that they let the other case go and now they bringing it back up. Because, they bringing the other case back up. And I think in his phone, they found some information that they can tie him of admitting about the other case. This is why they brought it back up. So, you know, you call in, let me know how you feel. Hit the subscribe button and smash the like button.
Her place of work up in Mount Airy area. Our evidence that we followed, and we did involve a lot of investigators on this, led us to several places, that digital evidence. And as everybody knows, we searched a very large area up in the Aubrey Arboretum, and we came up really with negative results. After that time, we asked the Homicide Division, the FBI Violent Crime Task Force to enter into the investigation to assist. All right, and we continued our search, trying to track Ms. Scott's whereabouts, along with anybody she may have encountered during that time. Our evidence is pretty clear that she was in communication with an individual. That individual appears to meet her very shortly after she leaves her place of work. And very shortly after that, she disappears off of the footprint. We have a lot of digital evidence, video and other, which provides us with this individual by the name of KEON, K-E-O-N, King, K-I-N-G. We believe this individual, and through our evidence, we were able to charge this individual. The district attorney was able to charge the individual. You'll hear from them shortly, with kidnapping at this point. It's very important to know we're not done our investigation. We need to find Ms. Scott, figure out where she is, or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone, her Instagram, social media sites, and everywhere else, work. She left her car at that location. So it's very important that this individual, who does have prior history of being arrested, especially for this very same thing, this year was charged with kidnapping another female acquaintance. That case was dismissed from court, and I'll explain it. It's going to be refiled now as we're going to move forward to attempt. So he's being really charged with 2 cases today of kidnapping. And in that case, it involves assaults that occurred during the kidnapping. So this is a pattern of behavior. That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle. All right. That vehicle's not recovered. All right. Some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have. So we're asking the public's help. We need it more than ever. This car, you'll see a better picture of it. We sent it to you digitally. It's a gold colored Camry, 1999. It has heavy front end damage on the left front bumper. All right, that's being described that way several times. We know it's been in the Mount Airy area. We have photos of it in Center City. We have pictures of it in Grace Ferry area and in Southwest Philadelphia. So it's possible that it could be anywhere. It could be outside the city. So if somebody sees this, thinks they know where this car is, it's very possible it doesn't have this tag on it anymore. So if you see a car like it, we're urging you to call police, have it investigated. Any information on this, you can call our tip line, 215-686-TIPS, 8477, or the Homicide Division directly, and give that information. All right, I'm going to turn things over to ADA Teslowski, who could speak a little more about the charges and potentially other charges that he's facing.
Thank you. My name is Ashley Teslowski. I am an assistant district attorney in the Homicide Unit. I became involved in this investigation last week when the investigation was turned over to the Homicide Unit. So I became the assigned ADA when detectives Rob Daly and Joe Kremen took over the case. The first thing I want to say is that PPD and our federal partners and Detective Daly and Detective Kremen have done an amazing job to get us where we are. Today I'm joined by Tracy Washington from our Victim Services Unit, and also Bob Listenby, the first assistant of our office. What I can confirm is that our office, as of the early morning hours into the early morning hours this morning, did charge this individual with charges, the lead charge being kidnapping. You know, as we've said multiple times at this point, we do not know where Ms. Scott is. So at this point, our lead charge is kidnapping. What we're able to confirm and what I was able to charge based on is what we know, which has already been said, which is that this person, Mr. King, is the last person we believe to be in contact with her, and that he was in contact with her when she went offline, meaning her phone, everything. So at this point, the investigation has led us here, and we're able to charge him with kidnapping, recklessly endangering another person, use of a communication facility, meaning his phone. We were able to track his phone and communications on his phone. He's being processed as we speak. When I picked up this investigation, one of the things that our office also learned was that he did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges. We believe there is enough to proceed, and we also do believe that this is a pattern for this person. That refile was filed yesterday. He was served on that as a part of our conversation with him. Him being here and being processed on the new charges, he was served for that, so he will also be facing a preliminary hearing on that previous kidnapping case as well. So at this point, he will have 2 open kidnapping cases that will face preliminary hearings in the coming months.
Sick individual.
I don't know if there's any questions.
Sick individual.
Scott, does the defendant, does the case appear before a judge that it's been withdrawn? How many times does this matter come before a judge and the decision then gets made it's withdrawn?
It depends. In this specific case, what I could tell you is that after the first listing, when the victim failed to appear, the case was marked what I'll call must be tried, which is a little bit of a court lingo, but basically saying if it's not tried by the next listing, it'll either be dismissed or withdrawn. It was marked that way after the first listing when she didn't appear in court. And then at the second listing, when again, we didn't have the witness or the victim in court, it was at that point withdrawn given the previous marking.
Do you have his date of birth?
I do not, but I'm sure we can get that.
Yeah, okay.
The video of the seeing of the vehicle in the area of Arboretum, is legally bound for the vehicle?
So this vehicle has been traveling all over the city. So we do believe this video is involved in what we're talking about, and we have it all over the city in concert with how he's moving as well. Yep, we have the date of birth for you. It is 5/6/2004. So 5/6/2004.
Do you guys know how the two knew each other, how long it had been, and is this the specific individual that Kada had expressed concern about, specifically harassment?
I'm not willing to comment on that at this time. That's still very much being investigated in terms of their relationship and how long they knew each other.
So the significance of the car and the urgency, if you will, can you address why you believe people need to find this car?
Sure, I can certainly comment on that, or if you want to. I mean, at this point, we believe he is connected to this vehicle. We also believe she may have been in that vehicle.
As far as the other case, the kidnapping case,
Yes.
can you just explain some of the circumstances surrounding that case?
Sure. That case is an individual that was known to him, a domestic in nature. And what I can say is the allegations in that case are that he kidnapped a woman in front of her house, threw her in her car, assaulted her, and then eventually let her out of the car. There is some video evidence, I believe, that'll be played at the preliminary hearing, but that was domestic in nature.
And do you have a time or about when that happened?
It was this year in 2025. The case was withdrawn in May, so it predates that by a little bit.
What was the last location the car was seen?
I don't know if we have exactly the last location, but what I can say is through our investigation, it was tracked all over the city, in multiple areas of the city in multiple different time periods throughout, the entire length of this investigation.
When police were at an address in Southwest Philadelphia last Thursday night, was that one of his addresses?
It was one of the addresses connected to this investigation.
Do you believe anyone else might be helping King or possibly driving him?
In terms of other people being involved, I don't have comment on that at this time. It's still very much being investigated. There have been several phone numbers involved that we've been tracking, but all roads at this point lead to him, And so that's what we're hoping leads us to her.
After she arrives at work at 10 o'clock, how big is the time window when she actually remains at work?
Yeah.
She's not there long at all. She gets there maybe just before 10, and right after she's out, maybe 20 minutes. That's what I'm told.
Are they communicating at this point?
We believe they are, yeah.
Do you know how the two knew each other?
I don't. I don't know their relationship. Obviously, they had a connection. They're going back and forth, and they've known each other for a short time, but I don't know how long.
Do you know if they're willingly meeting him or?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
I just wanted to see if is he saying anything, is he being interviewed?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point. All right, good.
Thank you very much.
What do you want? What? Firefighter John?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here, just go up and we'll get this
All
off
right.
the screen.
Just do it up there.
Yeah, just point up with the cameras or. Yep.
All right. Oh, you're all on.
We're all connected.
Okay.
We're all connected, sorry. Sorry about that. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Address with the department believes at this time the Shellmeyer case.
Sure. So, well, as you know, just before 4 a.m., the 15th District was called to 4700 block of Shellmeyer. When they arrived there, they found a 27-year-old individual sitting on a porch. He was actually locked in the porch. He was making statements about something that occurred inside. The officers had a breach entry to that porch. When they went inside, they found a 56-year-old that was extremely injured, brought him immediately to the hospital, and I think around 4:13 he was pronounced. At this point, the 27-year-old is here at the homicide division. We don't know the cause and manner of death at this point, and we don't know what occurred. There's some kind of physical confrontation that occurs inside the property. It was not a gunshot or anything like that. It was just a physical assault. It could have been a strangulation. We're not sure until the ME tells us after the post, and we'll move forward after that. But at this point, detectives are investigating the 27-year-old. No one's been charged yet, and we're going to keep moving forward on that. All right?
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, good.
Were you sending that out?
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I forgot. You're great, thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Just once a day.
Is this the January docket?
I have the document.
Do you mind texting me?
If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the live. Yeah. Well, we know that they do have somebody in custody. You know, I hope they find her alive. But the situation looked bad. Yeah. Look bad. I ain't gonna lie. It looked bad. You know, just being real though. Yeah, just being real. You know. Yeah. Ooh. But we see that they really don't care until it's too late. That's when they care, when it's too late. It's like it makes them look good to find out after. What about preventing? You know, they had a chance to prevent this from happening, but it wasn't their concern. Now, they want to act like they're concerned. So, we see a lot of this across the world. Yeah, that they more concerned after something happens than before it happens. So, deep situation, man. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the live. What y'all think about it? Chat, how y'all feel about it? Let me see. How do y'all feel about this? Yeah, let's see. How do y'all feel about this? I got live coverage here.
Discard it.
Vision.
Thus far in providing a lot of information, which the investigators have been able to track down a lot of the leads, which has helped us get to this point here. But as I said, a lot of work still to be.
It's a lot of work still to be done, they say. It's a lot of work.
Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? Please let the empty them into our.
Let's see what old Trump said. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what old Trump said here.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's great to be in this beautiful Oval Office. It never looked so nice. We're getting great compliments, and you see outside how that's come out. It's been great. We make a lot of improvements to the White House, and we're doing that. One of the things you should be looking at is the Palm Court, because that's been totally redone. So we like to preserve and make better the White House, and that's really what's happened, and we're getting tremendous reviews, and we appreciate it. But we're here for a different reason. It's called Operation Summer Heat, which is an appropriate term in light of what we're doing. And early yesterday morning, I returned from the Middle East, where we celebrated a historic agreement to end years of suffering and conflict. Amazing. Every country came together. I mean, even the enemies came out and totally endorsed it. Everybody, I've never seen anything like it. Nobody's seen anything like it. And just as we are forging peace and stability abroad, we're also restoring peace and safety and stability at home. And you see that in Washington, D.C., maybe better than any place, because we got there, and within 12 days it was very good. And within 30 days, it's been as safe as any city in the country. It's been great. Took out 1,700 people, got them out. These are career criminals in many cases, and people that shouldn't have been allowed in by the Biden administration. Historically, the summer months have been a time when violent crime soar, as you know, but not under President Trump. Today, we're announcing the results of a sweeping law enforcement effort known as Operation Summer Heat. We were in many cities that people didn't know about. We kept it a little quiet, and it had a big impact, and you'll hear that in a second. But over the past few months, FBI offices in all 50 states made crushing violent crime a top enforcement priority. That's what they did, rounding up and arresting thousands of the most violent and dangerous criminals. And these are among the most dangerous and violent people in the world. They were allowed, in many cases, not in all cases, but in many cases, they were allowed in by a very foolish, actually stupid, open border policy. Just anybody could have come in. They emptied out their jails, their prisons, their mental institutions. They emptied them into our country. And the people behind me have done an incredible job, because if we didn't have that administration, it would have been so much easier. They allowed millions of people in this country that shouldn't have been allowed, including over 11,000 murderers, half of whom murdered more than one person. And many of them are gone now, or they're put in prison, because we don't want to have them come back. So we literally put them in our prison, which we don't want to do. but we bring them back to their countries. Working with state and local partners, the FBI arrested over 8,000 violent criminals during the course of this period. In major cities like in New Orleans, Nashville, we saw a 250% increase in arrests. And we really went after the bad ones. These include 725 individuals wanted for violent crimes against children and murderers. These arrests are in addition to the work of our historic federal task forces that make D.C. Safe Task Force has been unbelievable. I mean, the job they've done, it's incredible. And it's been so nice because so many people, they're going out to dinner and they're having dinners. They didn't go out for 4 years. And now they're going out 3 times a week. Restaurants are opening. Restaurants are full. And usually that means a lot of good things. But restaurants that were closed are now opening up. And everybody's happy. It's nobody's ever seen anything like it, actually. And everybody feels safe. You can have a child walk right through the middle of Washington, D.C., and nothing's going to happen. We were losing more than one person a week in Washington. They're being killed on an average of over one a week. The Make D.C. Safe Task Force has been incredible. And the Make Memphis Safe Task Force is having very similar results. It's much earlier, but we've been there for a week and a half, but I'm hearing the results are pretty incredible, and you'll hear about that. They're mobilizing more than 20 federal agencies for the largest law enforcement operation targeting violent criminals in American history. As a result of these efforts, violent crime declined nearly 20% nationwide compared to the same period last year, and it was the safest and most peaceful summer in 2 decades. And honestly, we haven't really even gotten going yet. If we didn't have to fight all of these radical left governors, we could have had Chicago taken care of, as an example. They had, in a short period of time, 4,000 murders in Chicago, and we have to listen to this man stand up and say that we're bad people. And the people of Chicago are walking around with MAGA hats. You have women, beautiful black women, walking around with MAGA hats. Please let the president in, and we don't care how he does it. They're not interested in National Guard or Army, Navy, bring them in. Marines, bring in the Marines. They just want the crime to stop. And more so because of the success that we had in D.C. I think if we didn't have that success, nobody would even believe it. So I want to congratulate all of the incredible law enforcement professionals joining us today, especially Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's terrific, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is a fantastic legal talent. He really is. He's a great guy, too. And, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel. They have worked so hard on this and other things. Since the start of the administration, the FBI has arrested over 23,000 violent criminals, more than double the number arrested in the final year of the Biden disaster. The FBI has also destroyed or severely disrupted more than 170 organized criminal enterprises and gangs, 1,600 of the most violent gangs, and confiscated over 6,000 illegal firearms. And they've tracked down and arrested 4 fugitives on the most wanted list, 4 of the most wanted. Actually, 2 of them were the most wanted fugitives in the world. There's still much more work to be done, which is why the FBI continues to work alongside the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of War to defend. And Pete Hegseth has been fantastic, by the way, on this too, on other things, but on this too. To defend law and order and combat violent crime, arrest illegal aliens, and make American cities the safest in the world. And when I campaigned, I talked about crime, but I never knew that we were going to get into it like we did. You know, I mean, I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend, and they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason, like it was okay because it was a holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst. They really have to, they better, I tell you what, the people in Chicago and the people in places like that can be fixed. At some point, it gets to where you can't fix it anymore. It's too far gone. And we have some cities like that. But these are great cities that can be fixed. I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco there's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco. So I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your next group. You'll get great support. Every American deserves to live in a community where they're not afraid of being mugged, murdered, robbed, raped, assaulted, or shot. And that's exactly what our administration is working to deliver. I didn't realize I was going to make this such a big factor in the administration. I didn't really campaign. I campaigned on crime, but I never thought we'd go into every city and take a really safe city that we've all been living with for years and make them safe. And now it's like a passion for me, and it's a passion for the people behind me. So I didn't get elected. I did get elected for crime, but I didn't get elected for what we're doing. This is many, many steps above. And I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings, but maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far. But Stephen, thank you for doing an unbelievable job. And the people of this country love you, I'll tell you, and they love what you say about crime and stopping crime. So now I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words, and then Pam and Todd also. And I just want to congratulate them. This is an amazing thing. And we're just at the start. We're going to go into other cities that we're not talking about purposely. We're getting ready to go in. And when they go in, like Cash as an example told me that people didn't even know. 5 months ago, they went into Chicago, and they started doing a lot of work in Chicago. And we brought the numbers down a little bit. And but that really was just preparatory work for what we're going to do with the surge. We're going to have a surge of strong, good people, patriots, and they're going to go in, they straighten it all out. So a lot of these cities we're already working on, but we don't do it with a big flavor. But in a little while, you're going to see some numbers that you're not going to believe. And I think you'll probably start with Memphis, because I'm hearing the numbers are much quicker than we even thought possible. But again, D.C. it speaks for itself. Chicago is going to be okay. We're going to save Chicago. And I told you, and I told them, a very respected man, the head of the Union Pacific, said, "Sir, save Chicago. It can be saved." And the way he said it, it was like, can you believe it? We're trying to save Chicago. But I understood exactly what he wants, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to save all of our cities, and we're going to make them essentially crime-free, like other countries have crime-free. If you go all over the world, you go to the world, you hear Afghanistan and you hear all these different places. Our crime in certain cities is worse than anything they can even imagine. And we're not going to have that any longer. It's going to stop, and it stops right here. Cash, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I'd like to do is just highlight some of the outstanding work that the men and women of the FBI have been doing. And thanks to your brave leadership and the mandate you were given by the American people to not only defend the homeland but crush violent crime, you tasked us with our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General to start making arrests and bring prosecutions and safeguard our cities. And you said it, this is just the beginning. In just 7 months, I hope the media takes a look at every one of these charts, because these are the best numbers for fighting crime in U.S. history, and it's only 7 months in. And to do that, our vehicle to do it of choice was Operation Summer Heat, which the FBI architected to go after violent criminals. And in just a 3-month span, you had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized. And thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100 indictments in 3 months, from June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people at the Department of Justice to put the handcuffs on and bring them to court and put them in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone, because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI, who who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons alone. And then when you go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just hop over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime, but the homeland. Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That is a 30% increase year to date over the last administration. Violent crimes against children arrests alone are up 10%. Gang arrests are up 210% in the last 7 months alone. And transnational organized crime, which Stephen Miller has been a great partner in, is up over 12% alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger. We have gone after espionage activities against our main counterparts in China, Russia, and Iran. In China alone, we've had over a 50% increase in espionage arrests alone and prosecutions. In Iran, we have had a 50% increase, again, in espionage cases. And in Russia, we've had a 33% increase in espionage cases alone. When it comes to counterterrorism, year to date, we have 125 arrests this year versus 100 last year to date alone. And when it comes to the cyber criminal activities, which are some of the largest enterprises plaguing everyday Americans, we at the FBI have put out a mission to go after cyber criminals like never before. Last year, they had in total 191. This year, you already have 252 arrests. 52 arrests of violent cyber criminals who are stealing from senior citizens, who are violating our children's rights and freedoms, and who are violating everyday Americans. These programs are record. And two of the things I'll finish with that I'm most proud of, Mr. President, this FBI. Fentanyl. As you know, it's a scourge that is killing our youth, 100,000 plus a year. To date, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That's enough lethal doses to kill 127 million Americans alone. To date. And if that weren't enough, Mr. President, you said we have to go after the worst of the worst. And you empowered our Department of Justice, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and the Deputy Director at the FBI, led the charge, not just on summer heat, but he also led the charge in the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. These people have been on the run for years. And in 7 months, you captured not one, not two, not three, but 4 of the FBI's most top 10 fugitives. 4. And just to put that in perspective, Mr. President, the Biden administration captured 4 in all of 4 years. You're on 7, and we're going to get to 10. We're going to get to 10 of 10. This includes a lady who murdered her 6-year-old handicapped child and fled to India. We got her in 2 months. This includes a narco trafficker. This includes a sex trafficker. This includes another first-degree murderer and gangbanger. These people were on the run because of the prior administration's reckless policies that destroyed our communities, and you came in and with a mandate said, go after the worst of the worst. This is just the beginning. This is what happens when you let good cops be good cops at the FBI. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your incredible leadership, our brave partnership with prosecutors who know how to bring cases and make sure these arrests stick. And that's what the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have led the charge across this country, because arrests without prosecutions are meaningless. We are deterring criminals from doing this activity. We are preventing criminals from coming into America, and we are absolutely crushing violent crime like never before and defending this homeland, sir. And not to mention, I almost forgot this one, it took you, sir, 2 weeks to get the Abbey Gate bomber. Joe Biden had 4 years to look for him. You got him in 2 weeks, thanks to the interagency effort by the FBI and the CIA, went to Pakistan, and now 13 brave warriors who were senselessly murdered because of disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. They have justice, their families have a peace of mind, and we're going to continue to find the others, Mr. President. On behalf of the FBI, sir, I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Grace. Great job. Very good. Very impressive. Ken, would you like to say?
President Trump, the men and women of law enforcement say 2 things to me repeatedly. First, you have taken the handcuffs off them and let them do their jobs, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of these great men and women in the FBI, they have families at home, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to an agent this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around the clock to not only keep our country, but our world safe. And that's what Operation Summer Heat did. Thank you, Director, and to the Deputy Director for everything you did on behalf of the Department of Justice, and you're going to continue to keep doing. And they set the stage for what we're doing in Memphis. You're going to hear a lot more about that, our joint task force next week, but they set the stage for Memphis. And last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests, there were 12 guns seized, and there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile. So thank you all for being here on behalf of both of us. Thank you, President Trump.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a great day, and I think there's stats that the director talked about which are important, but I want to give 2 examples of what Summer Heat has done that actually will apply hopefully to everybody in this room. The first is for over 4 years during the last administration, there was a hotel in a town, the middle of a town in Alaska, that was being run as a drug den. There were over 1,000 calls to 911 over 4.5 year period. There were multiple violent crimes, drug dealers, overdoses, and murders at this one hotel, ruining a community. Summer Heat went in there, it's not only arrested all the participants that were controlling the hotel, but seized the hotel. And so that's one example of what Summer Heat means to everyday Americans that just want to live in peace. The second example is a large narcotics trafficking group that was selling fentanyl in the state of Washington. They were shipping fentanyl and using commercial aircraft, putting fentanyl pills and powder in suitcases, flying them from the southwest border, mostly Arizona, all the way to Washington. It had been going on for an extremely long time, and the entire organization was arrested. And I say those 2 examples because it's easy to look at the board and see 1,000 arrests. How much different is our communities now compared to the past 4 years? But there's actual life examples. Every one of these arrests means that our streets are safer, and that's because of the work of this administration, of President Trump and Director Patel. So I will tell you, Attorney General Bondi and I are together every day with Director Patel, figuring out ways that we can continue to do this work, and it's not going to stop. Like the Attorney General said, and like the President said, this is just the beginning, or phase 1, or a start, whatever you want to say, but it will continue on. So thank you, Mr. President, and thank you very much, Director Patel.
Mr. President, just one last thank you from the men and women at the FBI. You found a way to get these individuals paid during a government shutdown, our 1811 agents. So on behalf of the FBI, it's a great debt that we owe you, sir. They're now allowed to pay for their families, so thank you.
And the military. Good.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, please? Brian, go ahead.
First of all, I know the feedback I'm getting from the American people, but they want to say thank you. Law and order is not an option in this country. It's a mandate. So I know the American people thank you for that. In terms of the guns that have been taken off the street, do you have a number of how many guns were taken away from someone that had a prior felony or a previous crime that perhaps we can prosecute that? Because I know that wasn't the case under Joe Biden.
We don't take guns off the streets of people that are allowed to have guns. So every gun that we're taking off the street is because it belongs to somebody who is not allowed to have it. Could be a felon, could be somebody who hears illegally. There's all sorts of conditions. But if there's a gun taken off the streets by the FBI, it's because the person who has it is not allowed to. It's not somebody who's lawfully allowed to have it. So every single one of those guns were taken off of people that aren't allowed to have it.
And not including the FBI, all of the other agencies. ATF alone since January 20th has removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets just since President Trump's been in office.
Mr. President, if I could follow up on that, could there be any further conversation to have national concealed carry applied to actual DC? Like if you had a driver's license in Texas and you had a permit, of course you could drive.
Well, as you know, they've been talking about that for a long time. It's an interesting question. A lot of people feel strongly both ways, but we are talking about that, Brian. Thank you.
Mr. President, on Venezuelan boats, I want to ask you, why not have the Coast Guard stop them, which it is empowered by law to do? This way you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what you suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years, and it has been totally ineffective. They have faster boats. Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats, but they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years, and so much of the drugs, 25-30%, would come in through the seas. Right now we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
What's the next
But
step?
it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
What's the next step in this war on cartels, and are you considering options, are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found, and that I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people, these are people that are killing our population. Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place, and it's a tremendous. We're saving tremendous amounts of lives. Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, on that issue, I know you've talked about, I have a question for you, and then I also have a question for Director Patel. I know you talked about having some distaste for Boston recently. Is this one of those cities that you might be looking into, and can you give us a hint about other cities that you might be?
You're saying for
federal
where?
funds?
For where?
For Boston.
Yeah, well, Boston has a bad mayor who at least is a reasonable IQ person. You know, most of them are low IQ, but and they're so bad. I mean, what's going on in Chicago is just, you'd think the guy would say, hey, look, we have a problem, Mr. President. Could you come in and straighten it out? We could have that done in a month if we had their cooperation. It's going to be done anyway, but we could have it done in a month. Yeah, Boston, she's got 4 areas that are, wrong. And, somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes. We have the right to do that with FIFA. So if we think that LA is going to be bad, or we think that applies a little bit to the Olympics too, but we'll talk about FIFA first. FIFA is very hot. If we think there's any reason that, whether it's Boston or anywhere else, that they're not doing their job, we're going to take those World Cup games and move them someplace else.
Thank you. And then Director Patel, there's been so many conspiracy theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all the online content that everyone's been talking about?
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts. And we delivered at record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours. And if you put that in perspective, for Luigi Mangione or the Boston bomber, they took them 5 days and a police officer lost their life in their manhunt. We are running on absolutely every single lead. And the best thing we can do to honor my friend Charlie Kirk's life is to make sure that everyone involved is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And that's what we're focused on, investigating the facts, not trading in conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia? Are you open to talks in terms of
Yeah,
trade?
sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia, because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. You know, that is relatively easy compared to what we just did over the last week in the Middle East. Middle East was 3,000 years, and we got it done. This is 3 years, and I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And I think it's hurting the process. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you. Curious, Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged
Well, I can't
drug
do
busts in
that,
the
but
Caribbean?
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst. They've loaded up our country with prisoners, with mentally ill people that are seriously ill, criminally ill, and we're not going to take it. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I can tell you, we've taken care of the sea. There's nobody, and we're watching. We're watching. And if we see it, we'll save it. Yeah, please.
On the ships, though, sir, there are Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill concerned that in the briefings they've gotten about those attacks, they're not necessarily getting information about who was on them and what exactly was on those ships. Can you ensure that
but they are given information that they were loaded up with drugs, and that's the thing that matters. When they're loaded up with drugs, they're fair game. And every one of those ships were, and they're not ships, they're boats, they're speedboats. They're extremely fast, record-setting type speedboats that cost a lot of money, and they have a lot of money because they're drug sellers. But they know one thing, and they all have the same thing in common. There's drug dust. They call it drug dust. They call it fentanyl dust all over the boat after those bombs go off. And you can take along.
Them, though, that there are
we know before. We know when they go out. We know we have much information about each boat that goes out. Deep, strong information. Yeah, please.
So you're going to have Vladimir Zelensky here this week. What is your message at this stage of the war for him? And shy of tomahawks,
to who is it?
For Zelensky.
Yeah.
And shy of tomahawks for Ukraine. Are you considering other options, and will you speak with Vladimir Putin about
No,
that?
we're looking at other options. We are. President Zelensky's coming in. I'm not a fan of the war. I'm not a fan of the way it started. It should have never happened. It wouldn't have started if I were president. The election was rigged. And because of that, we lost a lot of lives have been lost because of that war. Not American lives, but if I can save a lot of lives, that's why I'm in it. I want to save lives. I've had 8 wars. The Prime Minister of Pakistan got up the other day, said so beautifully, says, you saved millions of lives. He told that to a group of people right in this office. He said, the president saved millions of lives. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that that would have been with India, nuclear war. That was getting very close. 7 planes, they don't talk about it, but 7 aircraft were shot down. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. You better represent us, not them, okay? Yeah. But Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war with him, and we'll be talking about, I mean, they want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, you know that, and we'll have to make a determination.
President, question, given you have the FBI Director and Attorney General here today, Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear into the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged, Jack? He's a deranged individual, yeah?
He's asked him to...
Well, they should. I'm surprised it takes so long. We're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent? That's what we have to talk about, too.
Jordan would like to understand the full extent to which the Biden-Harris Justice Department weaponized federal law enforcement. What do you think the committee will find out, Mr. Smith?
I think it was the worst weaponization of a political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm not. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. But what they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman, too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do. If we don't have fair elections in this country, we're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning, fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press, because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we've got the strongest border of anybody. Nobody has a border. We have a border where the numbers just came out again. You saw 0 people came in illegally. Now, we do take people into our country legally, but 0 people. But, you know, you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed massive political crime. I hope they're looking at Shifty Schiff. I hope they're looking at all these people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed to, you know, I'm, in theory, the chief law enforcement officer. But I have a very good, talented group. This is about something else. But I hope they're looking at political crime, because there's never been so much political crime against a political opponent as what I had to go through. They raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. I have a lawsuit that was doing very well. And when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit? I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit. And now I won. It sort of looks bad. I'm suing myself, right? So I don't know. But that was a lawsuit that was very strong, very powerful. They raided illegally my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. They went through the drawers of my young son. They went through all of the cabinets and drawers of the First Lady. She walked in, she said, wow, what happened? Because she's very meticulous, and this wasn't so meticulous. As she looked into the drawers and she saw everything a mess. What they did against a person that just got out of office. And then you look at these corrupt people. You look at Hunter Biden. You look at the signature. As an example, the Auto Pen. I just signed so many different things. An admiral, a 4-star general. I'm signing them left and right, the commissions. And by the way, I want to compliment John Thune and also Mike, our great speaker. But John Thune, all of a sudden I'm getting these things by the hundreds. I was getting one every 2 weeks. It would have been 4 years before you got them in more. You would have had some that didn't even get in, all because of Democrat obstruction. So John Thune did a great job. I must have signed 200 into the administration. We're just about caught up. It's amazing. And so compliments to John. He had to do some things that were very tough to do that he didn't want to do, but he was forced to do it by the Democrats. And as far as the shutdown's concerned, this is a Democrat Schumer shutdown. And he's trying to do it to get relevance back into the party because he's a loser. I've known him all his life. He's always been sort of a loser, but an intelligent one. But I think he's losing IQ points with time. I think that happens. I hope it hasn't happened with me. I know if it did, you guys will let me know about it very quickly.
Question on violent crime, sir. Here in D.C., a judge has given the 2 teenagers that beat up ex-Doge staffer Big Balls probation.
That's incredible.
And no jail time. Is this justice?
Jeanine Pirro is doing a fantastic job, and she is beside herself because you have these radical left judges that they beat the hell out of this guy. And there was many people against this one guy who was really trying to protect his girlfriend. He didn't want his hooded over the door but they really beat him up badly. That just happened, right? Wow, that's terrible. I think the judge should be ashamed of himself. That's a big problem. You know, they can do their job and then they go into a court and the people are protected by these, I don't know where they come from. Where did these people come from? Where did the judges come from? I want to compliment on behalf of Pam and Todd and all of us because, Cash, I think that Jeanine has done a fantastic job. And the case I heard was like flawless. It's a flawless case. They have them on tape. They have everything. And then a judge gives them a little probation. These are rough guys. And they're young. And if that happens, they're going to grow up. They're going to be real bad. They're going to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Sergio Gore has just gotten back from India. What were the conversations like with Prime Minister Modi and the other?
I think they were great. He reported to me that he's a great man, you know. Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump. Now, I don't know if the word love, I don't want you to take that any different. I don't want to destroy his political career, okay? But you have to understand, I've watched India for years. It's an incredible country. And every single year you'd have a new leader. I mean, some would be in there for a few months. And this was year after year after year. And my friend has been there now for a long time. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It's started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon. And all we want from President Putin is stop this. Stop killing Ukrainians and stop killing Russians, because he's killing a lot of Russians. Again, it doesn't make him look good. It's a war that he should have won in 1 week, and he's now going into his 4th year. That does not make this big so-called war machine look good. But he could make a settlement. We're willing to settle. I thought we had a deal. The hatred of the two leaders is very, you know, it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. There's no question about it. But I thought we had a deal 2 months ago. Who would think I created peace in the Middle East and can't get the two guys to settle? But I think we'll get them. But if India doesn't buy oil, it makes it much easier. And then,
if you haven't already smashed that like button, hit the like button, the subscribe button, man. Yeah. Some people going to disagree with Trump. Some people going to agree with Trump. He got a position that he got to take care of. And I can't change the man's outlook on how he want to do what he want to do. Yeah. So he going to do what he want to do. I can't change how the man going to do it. You know, I know when you in a position of power, it's going to be people that like you and people that don't like you. You know, I don't agree with a lot of things that he do, but I do hope that the things that's going on in certain cities that is out of control, I hope that it's able to get under control, because it's only black people harming each other. So if it takes somebody to help that out, hey, man, so be it. You go to all these cities and it's just a bunch of black people unaliving each other. So, you know, obviously, we can't come to understand that part. We can't figure out how to chill with that. So, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. We gonna see, though. We shall see. Whatever his plan is, we shall see what the plan is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. I'm getting up out of here, man. Go check the merch out, sbgbtv.com. Yeah. And I appreciate all y'all that rock with SBGB-TV. Deacon was popping. Dustin was popping. Michelle was popping. Kid Kill was popping. Treese was popping. Shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to all y'all that rock with SBGB-TV, man. You know, I appreciate all y'all. Mike Pina. Blue Chicken. Leonard. I appreciate all y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Share the live, man. And yeah, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Go check the merch out, sbgbtv.com. Yeah. Michelle. You know, so hopefully, you know, they'll figure something out. You know. Hopefully they'll figure something out. You know, I ain't getting upset about what they got going on. I can't get upset about it, man. I can't even take no, you know, I can't have no effect on it. You know, it's bigger than SBGB TV. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be back on for the late night show. Most definitely. You know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, share the live, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. You know, y'all already know what it is, man. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back.